Hi Chris, just going to start a quick catch up really on quick review of last season and looking ahead to this season. How you been doing?
All right, mate. Yeah, it's been a different summer to the last two, to be honest, Neil. There's obviously players have come out now, so we've retained more. So it's been less need for frantic phone calls trying to chase down new targets, mate. So I wouldn't say I've had a break, but it's not been as busy.
All right. So let's start with last season. Obviously, we've had a bit of time now, a bit of distance from the end of the season. Time to sort of like regather your thoughts. What are your thoughts on last year?
I think there's always going to be disappointment. You ain't won the league, Neil. You know, like that's why we're sports people, I suppose. That competition and that drive. But I think when you assess it all, really pleased with the players that we ended the season with, pleased with the players that we've retained. It was nice. I think we were in a playoff push until February.
Yeah.
And then we just thought we'd let everybody else have a go. And
just a few too many draws in the end.
Yeah, and I think that probably shows a little bit that we weren't losing them. And I think that the year before maybe we would have lost some of those games. So there's no shame in some of the draws. And I think where it was some of the draws against teams that maybe you think you should beat, but then there's draws against teams that maybe you shouldn't. So I think it levels itself out in that aspect. I think commendable. Disappointed with the points total. Obviously 2 seasons in a row, finished with 58 now. So wanted to break that 60 mark, but I don't know. I just think that when I compare the last 2 seasons, there felt something a little bit more settled last year, mate.
Yeah, I think that, and I think obviously you say about the 60-point target and not looking, not jumping ahead too far, but I assume it's going to be a similar target this year. But as we've said numerous times, to get those sort of figures is getting harder and harder in this league.
Well, I mean, my first points total has always been 40 points every single year because that's what sees you safe, and it didn't last year. So I think the league on paper looks a little bit easier than I thought it may have been. I thought with Russell coming into it and Hensford coming into it, I thought that would have been 2 really good teams. Obviously they've been put elsewhere. So I don't think that there are as many teams, but obviously there are still a healthy amount of teams. I think we'll always look at 40 points, then we'll look at the 60 points, and then there's the Dare to Dream after that part.
Yeah.
And I felt that that's probably where we might have been in February. Back end of January, I thought we were in the Dare to Dream sort of phase of it all, but for whatever reason, we just stopped scoring. I don't think the lads weren't trying or a lack of effort. Just sometimes it just don't happen, and that's what I felt like with them. My team talks weren't moaning at players really. It was more of a like, listen, let's just keep going. And maybe sometimes it's the yellow card syndrome, isn't it? You think of a yellow card, you see them, and maybe we were just focusing on too much on trying to score goals rather than let it be natural.
And any particular standout moments last year, good or bad, really?
Ruben's songs on the bus. Do you know what? The back end of the season, I felt that we went to Kettering and we went to Telford, and we took 2 completely different approaches. Kettering, I felt that we took the game to them a lot. I thought we had a lot of the football. I think we were maybe wasteful in the last chance, in the last third, but I thought that was a really good playing performance. And then Telford was a completely different approach. We went and we were physical and a little bit of ishousery, to say the least. But it was nice to see that we could play both sides.
Yeah.
So like they're 2 really good moments for me. Averley will always be probably the standout just because of the atmosphere on the day, not necessarily who we beat, just the.
Yeah.
He gave a buzz that week after. And that in the bar and the week after, just people were happy. So I'd probably say Averley was the one moment.
Yeah. Okay. More of that this year then.
Fingers crossed.
And I noticed, you know, in the close season, and we've not long announced that there's been a couple of changes behind the scenes into your backroom staff. Can you just tell us a little bit about what's happened with that?
Yeah, I think where I haven't had the stress of chasing players, I've had the stress of backroom staff. Now, Jean is off to do a degree. Oh, sorry, his masters, and it just doesn't fit. So Jean this year is his first time leading a medical department.
Right.
And I genuinely can't talk highly enough of him, Neil. He's been outstanding. You sort of know you've got it when you've got the senior players' trust as well.
Yeah.
But I haven't had to worry about anything, to be honest. It's all been done. So it was always going to be really difficult to replace him. And when we first put the ad out, it was quite slow in terms of applicants. So for about a week or so, I thought, oh. And then I realised that UK Sport hadn't published it, so maybe that was why. But no, we had some really good applicants come in. We met a few, but Rupesh is coming in, and listen, if you're working with cardiac patients at Adamsbrook, you've got to know your stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to be taking over the reins. He started with us now, and really nice guy and knows his stuff. So it's a department that I'm grateful that the chairman sees value in, that we do sort of look to be thorough with it. So we will miss Jean, but it looks like we've got capable hands with Rupesh as well.
Great, and then obviously Harry leaving to go to Bedford.
Yeah, now, I mean, my relationship with Harry goes back, Christ, I think he was 16. So we've known each other a long time. Harry did a really good job last year. I think I've sort of said to him, and he knows that I was hoping the relationship would be a little bit longer than 12 months, but at the same time, when I look at the friendship side of things, it was an opportunity for him to progress his career. He wants to work in pro football, and I identify why the Bedford appeals to him. I think they tried to grab him a couple of other times in the season, and he'd said no. So again, we had a lot of applicants. We've thought that we had someone sort of done on maybe a player coach role, but things happen, and that's probably why we don't announce players until they've signed something, because you never know what crops up. And we'd spoken early about the possibility of Franco, and as I sort of said to Franco, I think we made some assumptions on his behalf. And then we just got chatting one night when we were talking about the season ahead, and he sort of mentioned that he would, and I thought he wanted to go down the management route and whatnot. And the moment he was interested, it was sort of like, please take it. And he has done an incredible job with the 23s. Like this time last year, pretty much taking the reins with no squad to get it up and running. We always knew that survival was going to be a really impressive thing, because 12 months ago we had no squad at all. 2 weeks before a season started. So Franco is someone that knows the club. He has a really good relationship with the 18s and 23s. He's someone that has the trust of the management staff in the first team. And a lot of the time, when I've done my interviews for staff, it's, do I want to pick the phone up to him? You know, and he's someone I do want to pick the phone up to and talk football with. So trust is a huge element to it, and he's dipped his toe in, and it's like he's always been here. So it's nice that we've done it the Royston way, really. And
I was going to say that it's a sort of thing, you know. I mean, as a club, we like to have a pathway, not just a player pathway, but you know, coaches and stuff as well. So I think it's a great move. On a club basis, and also kind of further reinforces that sort of like pathway that you know, this is a club to come to and progress.
Even with Tappy and Roy, the moment Franco said yes, the first conversation was with them. And I think they needed to see whether they could fit it in, and so glad that they've said yes to doing it. Again, two people that know the club, and I've always said it to a lot of people that Royston's very unique in many ways, and we speak to some people that would be excellent, but they just wouldn't be Royston, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
the fact that they are going to take it, and that there's a continuity with the players and who the management is, it's just made that process really, really seamless when it could have been chaotic.
Yeah, and have anything else off the pitch that's changed this year, or?
We've got a lovely new changing room.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a lovely new changing room.
Finishing touches just
yeah,
been applied.
I'm so pleased that the guys have agreed to do that, because it gives a nice home for the lads to spend their moments pre and post and during fixtures. We are also working on a analysis department, so we're going to look to, I wouldn't say go down the Moneyball route whatsoever, but we are looking to integrate some analysts that can do some scouting for us based on metrics that are important to how we play. So we'll still have the volunteer scouts that have done an incredible job for us last year, but just trying to add another layer onto it now.
Yeah. So, and touching on that, sort of like, new additions and stuff, how is the squad shaping up at the moment?
Yeah, do you know what, it felt towards the end of last year that there was a real togetherness and a bond in that dressing room, and I don't know whether arrogantly I felt that we'd be all right when it comes to retentions this year. Obviously, a few have decided. Damari, I always knew that was part of the agreement when he came in, that he would do this season and he'd want to get a move into the Isthmian Prem. So
yeah.
I always knew he was with us for this. Lukey is obviously signed at Stanford. Lukey was doing a 2.5 hour, 3 hour journey. So I think he came in, I think there was maybe some hopes that he might get a signing at level 2, or I know he had a couple of offers that were full-time last year. So I'm not surprised that maybe he felt he wanted to move on. Ben Wayman has obviously gone off to Real Bedford, which I get it, like the trajectory of that club and what Ben's ambitions are. He feels that probably matches him for the time that not the time, the period he's in his career now.
Yeah.
So it's a shame to see those boys go. Tommy was a bit of a different one, really, and maybe we came to an agreement that maybe both felt that it would be best to sort of part ways. Tommy, again, is someone I've known since he was 16, so like there's a long relationship with him and his family, and Tom felt that he wanted to be a little bit closer to home, and unfortunately where he picked up the injury, his standing was outstanding.
Yeah.
And Jamie did an excellent job. I think it was 6-7 clean sheets in 13 games, and there was just the confidence I think he gave to the back line. And you sometimes got to read the room, Neil, haven't you? And I think the boys really enjoyed playing in front of Jay. So, it's natural, isn't it, that there's going to be turnover of
and Josh?
Players. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Josh. Don't like Josh. No, no, Josh. Sorry. Yeah,
the two Joshes, really.
Two Joshes. Yeah, I don't know whether Dodu's been announced yet, so I'll keep that one quiet.
Okay.
But I sort of helped Josh get a move because he has got them aspirations of trying to get back into full-time football, and he has had an offer to go and do that. And yeah, I think it's the way we are as a club to, if we can help, then players coming in, I want them to know that if they are succeeding, we won't stand in their way, and we always say that to them in negotiations, that as much as we'd love to have you, if we can't give you National League football, then we can't stop you from having National League football. So, Josh has signed at step 2, Dodu that is. And then Josh Goddick at Stevens, obviously, my first ever signing, so I will miss him. It's amazing. He come back after a 2-week holiday in America last year, and see him the other day, and he looks lovely and thin this year. So that love for hitching. He's clearly there, but no,
it's got to fit in them shorts.
Oh Jesus! No, he'd upped his game this year. I must admit, his clobber in Ibiza was much more fitting for an adult more than anything else. But yeah, so Josh has obviously gone to hitching, and that suits his. He's an intelligent guy, so he's trying to plan ahead, and he feels that the role will support his CV for the future years. So.
Yeah, and because he'd had a change in work, hadn't he?
yeah, they're the lads that have gone out, and then so far we've got.
Yeah. So who coming in? Do you think that fans should perhaps keep an eye on, or all of them?
All of them, yeah, for different reasons. So I think we need to treat Jamie Head like a new signing, who we know. He brings an assurance, he brings a really good personality into the dressing room, and he brings a voice and he brings experience. And that's been something that we've tried to do with our signings this year, is a little bit older, also played the level.
Yeah.
You know, so Jamie's come in, and like we all know, and seen what he can do anyway. Probably starting, first signing was Freddie Price. Freddie is a young, very, very quick winger that has abundance of potential. Now, there was a lot of similarities between how I was before I come to Royston. When I was younger, being a quick winger, there's a lot of similarities, and Freddie does some work with a lad that I used to play with, and he sent me a load of footage over of him and sort of said, would you mind seeing if this is someone that would fit? And I think that when you've got pace, it's always going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And we saw on Tuesday night at Ware that it only takes one moment, and I think he'd probably admit he'd had a relatively quiet game, and then he picks the ball up 1v1, he's gone round 2-3 and cut the ball back for Joe. So it was new signing to new signing, and that was the moment that won us the game. So I think that's what we can expect from him, is some excitement, especially when he's one-on-one with fullbacks. Next signing was Jack Thomas. Jack is a carbon copy of Bex, if I'm honest. Like, they're very, very similar in playing styles. Aggressive, gets around the park, wants on the ball, really good at seconds, strong in the air, fantastic personality as well.
Bit of a leader?
Yeah, definitely, and you've seen that within sessions already, his driving standards. But I tried to sign Jack last year, and I thought we came close to an agreement, and it was like a really, really late offer that came his way that was the only reason that fit his life at that moment, and that we didn't have him in a Crow shirt last year. So he's going to come in and he'll add some strength into midfield. We've signed a lad called Josh Bourne as well, who's another centre midfielder, where we'd lost Josh Codicott and we'd lost Ben Wayman as well. We needed 2 shirts to fill. Josh is very similar in ways to Ben in terms of energy. Really, really fit lad, will get up and down. Spent last year at Bracknell, where I think he got 7 or 8 league goals as well. Right. So don't mind a shot, don't mind getting into the box, and we saw that probably on Ware, that we can sort of, I wouldn't say replace Ben, but we've brought in a like for like on that side of it. Then we signed Joe Iachafano, who's proven at step 2. Yeah. Like, it's a really good signing for us. I was like, here's Johnny. Huh? No. Back to Joe. So Joe was he's proven at step 2, and I think we always knew that if a proven goal scorer become available, we'd entertain it. I felt that maybe we didn't create enough last year, so I think the forwards that we had obviously probably didn't get the goal tallies that they wanted, but then I think they could probably all argue that they didn't have an abundance of chances. Yeah. I think even if you look at the Premiership, a 20% ratio of shots to goals is a good target, and we were probably only giving them 1 or 2 moments in a game, so we're asking for real high end. Yeah. But his link play's really good. He wants to be in the box, and one thing that's sort of noticed really early on is his shift shot sort of speed is excellent, and I think that's something that the other younger strikers can maybe sort of learn from. But he's got the right attitude and wants to do well, which is the main part. I don't think he's coming here for an easy life. I think he's going to suit where he's at with his career and whatnot, and he's still got that internal drive to play higher.
Yeah.
So 4 really good signings, and then you've got trialists to sign in. We've had a young lad called Anton Matthews come in, who is a centre half that we'd noticed the back end of last year, and we put him on the watch list for this year. And then the lad that we signed Freddie through said, I'm going to start working with this lad. And I said, look, I'd love to have a look at him in pre-season. And it was the same lad. And again, going back to it, when you get the backing of the senior lads, and straight after the Wingate game, the boys were, he's not bad, him, is he? And then I thought, okay, I want to watch him again. I thought he did really well at Ware as well. So he's agreed. You should imagine by the time this goes out, we've announced him. But yeah, so that's 5 signings. We're pretty much there. I think maybe 1 or 2. And we've got a few other trialists in at the moment and that are doing well. Yeah. And then stuff always comes up, Neil. So
yeah. And you think you got a good balance in the squad? You know, the experience and youth and good depth across.
Yeah, I think we've got good humans, which I think is the most important part. I think there's no. That's what I was when I was sort of saying it to Joe. Like one of the questions he asked was, "What's the dressing room like?" And I think we've got stand-up men. Yeah. I think we've got a group that when the fans are sitting in this bar and they watch them walk through the door, I think they can all say, all right, might not have won today, but they tried.
Yeah, and I think that's, I mean, we've said this numerous times, I think that's what people want to see.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if the effort isn't there or it's not perceived to be there, then that's when the issues arise. But, you know, it's the fans here, as you know, are a sensible bunch.
Yes.
Realistic ambitions and also realistic in terms of knowing who's giving.
Yeah,
who's not.
super supportive as well. But I mean, the players' WhatsApp group's called No Dickheads because it's just setting the standard straight away. They don't last lads that maybe have an ego or it's about them. But yeah, I feel confident that as a management staff, we've put together a squad that will most certainly give. I think we saw that towards the back end of last year anyway. Yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, we do a lot of due diligence about what type of person they are. Because they might be excellent at football, but if we don't want to sit in a bar and have a drink with them or whatever, then or sit on a coach for 3 hours, then I'd rather not entertain.
Yeah, if they can't sing like Elvis,
that's
I mean, that is the thing to look forward to, isn't it? 5 new initiation songs.
Yeah.
They've
Wait and see what them fixtures. Yeah. Let's see what them fixtures give us and when we can get them out, I suppose.
So how's pre-season been so far? I know it's been pretty hot.
Yeah, there has been that. A little bit disjointed in ways of we didn't manage to get a fixture for the 8th, then we rightly had to move today's fixture to Thursday. So just jigging and planning that side of it. Sessions have been Scotty specials and they're with Scott at the moment, and even the games, the next 2 probably are still fitness based, and we're dropping in little breadcrumbs of tactical elements of it, but we won't be like full strength and then
but it's about minutes.
Yeah, it is at the moment, and then probably the last 2 will be where we start to take it right. Okay, this you're fighting for your shirts now, sort of thing. So we go to Cambridge on Tuesday, and that'll be a mishmash again. But they've worked really hard. We've set our boundaries on terms of fitness testing and what they must return to as a minimum, and everyone's cleared that. We have like a 2 banding. There's an absolute minimum, and then there's a banding where they don't have to do top-ups in sessions, and pretty much everyone is over the level 20 mark anyway.
Trying to avoid the top-ups.
Yeah, trying to avoid Scotty's top-ups. So yeah, we're in a really good position in that sense, and yeah, it's nice that we can use today as a bit of a team bonding. Once we've done this, we'll have the lads in here, and they're going to auction off their shirt numbers, which should be a good activity to watch.
And so looking ahead to the season, obviously we said about the targets, 40 first, then 60, and then Dare to Dream. But anything else that you've got in mind, or?
It would be nice to bring home some cup success, whether that's a local one, whether that is the first round of the FA Cup. I think we'll go into every game Trying to win it this year, I think it would be nice to have a bit of silverware and even a Hearts Charity Cup, whatever it may be, to sink our teeth into. The problem is they prepare to win them as well, don't they? So it don't always go the way you want it to.
Yeah, and of course with things like the trophy and the FA Cup, it all depends on the draw.
Exactly. Like we, I think if we was to repeat last year's FA Cup, then I don't think I can be too sad about it. I'd like to go a little bit further in the trophy. Obviously, it was close with Rushall here and went to the wire, but again, they were a Step 2 side, albeit struggling. They had Step 2 players and stuff, so yeah, a little bit further in the trophy would be nice. And yeah, we'll always dream for that first round proper of the FA Cup. But yeah, maybe a little bit more of a sterner approach to the local cups as well, I think. Might be what we do.
Just finally, really, anything that you've got to say to the fans or what they can expect from the group this year?
No, listen, I try and get the fans down here, and you don't ever want to sound cliche now, really, but they are part of my recruitment pitch. And I say to the new signings all the time, you'll come to me in a couple of months and you'll say, I understand what you were saying about how nice the fans are and how supportive they are. And I always say to them, check Twitter, like find me the last time someone was not a nice word, you know, and it gives them a safe space, and maybe that's why our home form is so good, because they can play with no fear, and a few of them can come to the away games and help us out produce that again. Maybe a few more hat days would be nice. Yeah, no, it'll be a group that are going to look to have a go. Let's see how quickly we can get to 40, then let's see how quickly we can get to 60, and then hopefully we do end up in that Dare to Dream period, phase, should I say, and we can all enjoy the back end of the year with a bit of promise. But I think if we repeated last year, knowing that the league is only getting harder and harder and full of finances, then yeah, I'd still see it as a success. Just your inner drive wants you to win the league, you know.
Nice one.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, mate. We'll catch up again, no doubt, maybe after Tuesday's game, and throughout the season.
No worries. Cheers, now.
Cheers, pal.
Thank you, mate.